You got the glow? Yeah, it's me again, Aaron Whitlow,
Ken Whelan.
and we are here with the retro movie review takedown. We're going to be taking down a movie today that we both like. He likes a little more than I do. But, good old Tay-Mac. I think it's how you say his name.
Yeah, something like that. Tay-Mac, Tay-Mac.
Oh, and you see behind us on the screen there, good old Shogun. We tried to get a picture of Richie because we found out from watching this movie for Lord knows how many times that Richie runs it.
Richie runs it.
Richie runs it. Last Dragon, the 80s classic. Barry Gordy directed this.
Masterpiece. Absolute masterpiece.
He uses it loosely. This is 80s PG-13. PG-13. Like totally supposed to be PG-13. This movie has so much cussing in it. It's ridiculous. But, you know.
And
but
it's chock full of racism.
Oh, so racist. So racist. Everybody in this movie is racist. Even Asian people were racist of Asian people.
The Asian people are probably the most racist people in this movie.
We'll talk about it. But Last Dragon. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. But first, we're going to just pretty much tell you the premise of this movie. It's about this guy by the name of Bruce Leroy Green, who, because if you're named Leroy, your name has to have a colorful ending, brown or green or Jones. So Leroy Green here is young African-American man.
Yeah.
From
who is
somewhere in Harlem.
Who is slightly confused. Yeah, I think it's Harlem. I think that's where
or Chinatown.
His dad's pizza shop.
That if it's in Chinatown, it's kind of a weird place to have a pizza shop.
Yeah, well, I mean, like his dad said, I'm a black guy that owns a pizza shop.
He did say, and he pretty much just quoted the movie. He says they thought it was weird that a black man like me owned a pizza shop, but hey, look at me, you know. But yeah, so the movie is about this guy by the name of Leroy Green, Bruce Leroy Green. It's weird that will be his name, but hey, you know, coincidental. He is, you know, young man that is a martial artist who studied with this master, who may or may not be Yip Man.
May or may not be.
May or may not be Yip Man. Who, you know, the movie you find out that he wants to be the last dragon. At the beginning of the movie, I made a Dragon Ball reference because the sensei pretty much said you gotta collect all of the
medals or the patches.
I guess it wouldn't be sensei. Sensei like Japanese. Sifu, I think is what you say in Chinese. So the Sifu said you got to collect all these dragons.
Yeah, it's like their patches. It's kind of like the Kung Fu Boy Scouts or something.
And he has it like in a big circle, pretty much, of all these patches that he has, and so he has to collect them. And then Bruce Leroy really wants to glow.
Yeah, which is like the Force. It epically enhances your Kung Fu abilities to a unstoppable level, just about.
And Ken also mentioned the fact that it has a lot of it borrowed heavily from Star Wars. Heavily from Star Wars. If you watch this movie and you watch Star Wars, this movie is pretty much Star Wars but with black people.
Yeah, and Chinese people.
And that's not racist. It's true. But
and one white guy who's the villain. Which that's not necessarily racist.
It's a blaxploitation film, I guess. Would you say it's a blaxploitation?
I would say it's blaxploitation, except for the fact that it exploits everybody. It just exploits everybody.
Chinese exploitation, blaxploitation, Italian exploitation.
Yeah.
Well, before we're gonna tell a little bit more about the movie. What it was about.
You know, Bruce Leroy is wanting to attain the glow and do all this. You know, wants to become one with the
Force.
Yeah.
The Force.
And,
the glow Force.
And he gets involved in his little brother is this Richie who runs it.
Richie runs it. Richie runs it.
He goes down to this local dance club, and the host of the show that they film at this dance club gets accosted by the only, well, not the only white guy, but like the main white guy in the film.
Totally, he has no plot.
Yeah, and he's trying to get his girlfriend's video on the show,
and she's like a very, 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 very bad Cyndi Lauper.
Old Cyndi Lauper.
And Ken also pointed out the fact that every pop star in this movie is over 40 years old.
Yeah, they look ancient in this movie.
I'm pretty sure Pat Benatar was in there somewhere, or Pat Benatar's mother.
Yeah, that's probably close to the
Peg
case.
Benatar. But yeah, no, yeah, and he wants to get his girlfriend on this TV show. It's kind of like Video Soul / American Bandstand, Soul Train type of thing. They show videos, the people dance. They had El DeBarge with his mullet in the 80s there. Yeah, not there, but on the screen. I guess they got the rights. A lot of Bruce Lee is also seen on screen. You have to use Bruce Lee.
A lot of influence from Bruce Lee.
But yeah, so he wants to get his girlfriend on there. Bruce Leroy is trying to obtain the glow / force, and along the way, he does not have Obi-Wan. He has an Asian Obi-Wan. He has an Asian / Obi-Wan / Yoda guy. He has
his little black brother is a Yoda character.
I guess the Asian dude. Would his brother be C-3PO?
No, man.
Would Richie be C-3PO?
No, because remember he carries him on his back and he's like running with him on his back.
He would be Han Solo. Richie would be Han Solo. Richie is Han Solo.
No, Johnny's Han Solo.
Johnny's Han Solo?
Johnny is one of his Asian students because apparently Bruce Leroy also
runs
his own dojo. Johnny, man.
He's C-3PO. And then the little Asian Ernie Reyes Jr. will be R2-D2. Well, it's just like little things we sing. And then in this one, Luke gets Princess Leia, which is weird because that's Star Wars. Anyway,
because if he actually got Princess Leia in this movie, it would be Rudy Huxtable, also known as.
Rudy's in this movie. Yes.
What is her real name?
Keisha Knight Pulliam.
Yes.
I know this. I don't know why.
I
but and then Cockroach also from a Cosby Show's in it. William H. Macy.
William H. Macy is.
I guess older dad. He's in this movie.
Yeah, he's a hairdresser. Chaz Palminteri.
Chaz Palminteri is the limo driver, the dude that Jim Carrey kills in Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, he's in it.
Yes, Jim Carrey kills a guy in Dumb and Dumber. If you think about it, he's a murderer. He should be arrested. If you think about it, that's off track. But yeah. So Tay-Mac, aka Bruce Leroy Jr., wants to have. He is a junior. He wants to have his. I guess he wants to get the glow.
That's his ultimate goal.
Yeah, and the villain,
and then
Eddie Arcadian wants to get famous by any means necessary. Then you got this black dude that may or may not be Busta Rhymes.
Yeah, show enough.
This fella
right here.
Yeah, who wants to be known as the baddest martial artist and
the baddest mofo around this town.
Show enough. But the thing is, he's totally like Japanese influence. He's like totally about some
Shogun. His clothes are Japanese, very samurai-esque.
Foot soldiers.
Yeah, and they all have like little red dots like the Japanese flag.
I'm not convinced not one of them knows martial arts. Maybe Shogun. That's
he
about
might.
It. A little bit.
Yeah.
And then I want to talk about real quick. So the movie. So within that whole thing, he obviously at one point Eddie Arcadian's girlfriend leaves. So what was his main? I guess I'm gonna get famous without her. So he decides to kidnap, which is not a good thing. He kidnaps the lady that I think is her name's Vanity. Vanity. I called her Apollonia erroneously throughout this whole movie because it's so interchangeable. Both of them worked with Prince, so I'm not that off key.
Yeah, but they both worked with Berry Gordy.
Both of them worked with Berry Gordy.
Oh.
So, but
the more you know.
Yeah. So he kidnaps Vanity several times. First time, she could have ended the movie by just saying yes, I will show you video, and then leave, and then call the authorities.
Yeah.
Like how it should have ended. That's how it should have ended. But the second time, I don't know where he's going with the whole kidnapping thing. She still didn't call the authorities once she got free.
No, I don't know who called the authorities. They just showed up at the end like, hey.
And then someone also called her producers because the hairstyle.
Yeah, because they showed up. Yeah, we got to get you on.
You got to be on stage, girl. But, yeah, let me talk about some things in this movie real quick. One thing, the movie theater scene, by the way, this is the worst theater in history of theaters. there is a lot of a blatant amount of transgender people in this movie, and that that's in here. There's a there's a big, no offense, white dude that has a tank top on.
Little bitty tank top. It was a bra.
Yeah, and he got down the stairs really fast. If you think about it, he was in the balcony.
He must have jumped down.
He looks like Tugboat in wrestling. You remember Tugboat? He looks like Tugboat wearing a tank top, and then like there was this big Asian.
That big Asian. Yeah, he looked like an American Indian / Asian guy.
And
big dude.
He was smoking a cigarette in the theater, but
a lot of smoking going on in the theater.
He had that big dude girlfriend. Dude thing.
Yeah, so big dude with big
money.
Dude. It's weird. It was uncomfortable.
And then there was some reason there's a Rastafarian smoking weed.
Yeah, giving out some kind of sage advice or another. I don't remember what he said. There's a lot of weed
references in this movie, like the Asians.
Yeah, the Asians were smoking weed like crazy
and trying to play craps.
Trying to play craps, rapping out front,
and said something very racist. He says, "Get your jive cognac away from here," because the master definitely don't want to see no jive coolness. As racist.
They were racist.
Very racist. And then he becomes a racist stereotype of his own culture. Yeah. He put it on the hands and said, bye now. You go. Yeah.
Very racist. Just ridiculous. I guess I don't know. I don't remember as a kid being that age. I was 6 when this movie came out. Being that age, man, I guess that was common. I didn't see a lot of it.
But we came up in the era of All in the Family, where in Sanford and Son, where it was like it was cool to say honky on screen, no offense, or anything else. But but that was the era in which we grew up in. So this is a product of his era, the 80s. You can tell about a really, really bad girlfriend that dresses very, very 80s, very, very bad 80s, like overly 80s. We said overly.
The pop star girlfriend, man. She like her hair was the color of a traffic light. It was red and yellow and green.
And she changed her hair so
blue in there, and she had some like plastic triangle thing in her hair. I don't know. It was confusing.
And also in Eddie Arcadia's little lair, he had a big old piranha, I guess, maybe.
I guess.
Or eel.
It ate things really fast.
And the dude's hand was totally in the water. It should have ate his hand. But that's besides the point. As the guy that got killed by Jim Carrey, if you're keeping check on things. Also, so let's talk about the good, the bad, and is it the good and bad, and is it a good movie? The good... what's the good in this movie?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I couldn't put my finger on it. I love this movie, though, man. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's in my top 10 of all movies.
I honestly don't know why.
I love this movie, man.
I own it, but it's not. If I can find some good in it, is that Richie runs it.
Richie runs it. Yeah.
If there's anything that I learned today, is that Richie runs it.
This kid, like, no matter what situation he gets put in, he gets out of it.
He gets out of it.
And the phone rings in the family home. He answers it. He's talking to somebody. He's the one that turns off the TV. Doesn't ask anybody. Just turns it off.
Richie runs it. And then when things goes bad at Papa Green's Pizzeria, Richie pretty much tells Bruce Leroy. He stands up and he tells Bruce Leroy, pretty much we don't want you around here. Get out of here, sucker. Blah 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 blah. And the mama and the daddy did nothing. That's good with it. Rudy Huxtable wasn't there.
Yeah.
But who kept? That's we don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
Rudy runs it.
Maybe Rudy. Well, maybe Rudy was at the Huxtable's house.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe Rudy was just being. And also, we realized that Mr. Bruce Leroy doesn't really know Asian culture because he kept calling Mama-san, Papa-san.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's not right. Y'all can tell us in the comment section below if it's right or wrong. Yeah. We don't know. But also...
So, and also, on the theme of Richie running it, Kid gets tied up. He doesn't just get out of the ropes. He pops and locks until he gets out. I mean, he dances his way out of the ropes.
And he frees himself from a cage.
He frees himself from a cage.
Also, Ernie Reyes Jr. is in this movie. He's very, very young, very young. But he's actually he steals the scene. He steals the show.
Kid's a total BA.
Also, at the end of the movie, you find out that which we'll talk about this some more. There's an evil force. In Star Wars, the dark side.
Yeah.
Is it not so much the force? He's the Star Wars expert. So is it not so much the force for the dark side? Is it just the dark side?
No, it's the force. There's the dark side and the light side.
And they use the dark side of the force.
Yeah.
So and Ken mentions the fact that he says something along the lines of it's a shorter
path to power for the bad guy than
That's
it
it.
is for the good guy.
That is.
Yeah.
And so you've seen at the end of the movie, Shogun gets his power, his red glow, really quickly.
Yeah.
Or Bruce Leroy almost had to drown to death in order to get his.
He's almost drowned.
But his was cooler because, this is Star Wars reference too, because when their forces hit, there's that
sparks, yeah.
Yeah, very, very flare.
Yeah.
Oriented. J.J. Abrams.
A lot of flare going on.
Yeah. So you got that going on. So the good for him is he don't know why he likes it. The good for me is Richie runs it. The bad is the fact that it's totally dated.
Oh,
totally dated movie. Eddie Arcadian, what was his plan in the end? Because obviously those producers that came at the end of the movie to help Vanity, they were going to, show up where he had her held hostage and seen her tied up. He would still end up going to jail. So I don't know what the whole plot was for him. And I say this dated. I just say this dated. But the rewatchability, does it have rewatchability?
I think it does. I've watched this movie a million times, man. I love this movie. The bad for me, the bad is, like you said, it's dated. The writing isn't the best. The acting isn't the best. Super racist movie.
Very racist.
Probably the most racist movie I've ever seen, including Airplane and Kentucky Fried Movie. And those are pretty bad.
I own both of those, by the way.
Awesome movies.
But it is very racist. Very extremely racist. But it's like exploitive racism. And it's very exploitive. And not that it's a bad thing, because that's a genre of film, the exploitation film. And so it had its own it had its own place in cinema. So for that, yes, it has rewatchability. I mean, I've seen this movie Lord knows how many times, and I watch it even if it's just to kind of poke fun at it. It has rewatchability. Although Tay-Mac didn't go on to do much more after that, other than really, really bad movies and becoming a security guard for UFC. But he looks the same. He absolutely
he looks exactly the same as he did when he in
Google
1985.
Google him today.
It's crazy.
It's impressive.
I do. One other thing that I do like about the movie is the lines in this movie. The line there's a lot of really good lines. Kiss my Converse.
Kiss my Converse.
That's awesome.
Who's the master?
Yeah, who's the master?
Shogun.
Awesome lines. You just
dim sum. You jive, cool. No, but yeah, hey, no, that movie rewatchability. Yes, it has rewatchability. Would kids today of our children and stuff like it? No, they won't like it. But they are into crap, and that's the truth. They are into crap. I'm not saying that this isn't considered crap. It's
a polished turd for sure.
It's a polished turd, but we enjoyed it, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And let us know what other movies you think we should, review. I see Shogun left us in the back, but that's cool. But yeah, let us know what movies you think that we should review next on Retro Movie Takedown. Once again, my name is Aaron Whitlow.
I'm Ken Whelan.
And we enjoyed you coming here, and tell us what you think in the comment section below. Peace.